Dear Robert, dear Minister Ujic, Ambassador Kife, professionals, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to address you today on behalf of the Embassy of Israel in Belgrade. I would use the opportunity to thank Robert and his team for great work they do and fruitful cooperation we have. As you know, Israel today is considered a startup nation. How this all happened and what lies behind. Specific geopolitical challenges the country has been facing since its foundation, together with scarcity of natural resources, prompted Israel to achieve technological supremacy. As early as 1969, our government established the office of the chief scientist under the Ministry of Economy and Industry, tasked with implementing governmental policy regarding support and encouragement of industrial research and development projects. The next key development was the adoption of law on encouragement of industrial R&D. The stated goal of this legislation was to facilitate development of science-based export-oriented industries capable of creating employment and improving countries' balance of payments. In the early 90s, Israel invested in two programs that put wind in sails in high-tech industry. The Yozma program led to establishment of 10 venture capital funds dedicated to attracting foreign investments. In parallel, the new technology incubator model began taking in 80 to 100 startups every year and provided extensive financial support to early-stage startups. Israel VC's industry benefits from the government's incentive measures. For example, foreign investors in eligible VC funds are entitled to receive tax exemption on the income generated from the investments in the Israeli IT industry. Currently, there are 70 active VC funds in Israel. Israel is one of the most technologically advanced countries and a global innovation hub, with Tel Aviv as the second startup ecosystem in the world. Israel ranks first out of 148 economies in innovation ability and second in entrepreneurship, according to the International Institute for Management Development Competitiveness Yearbook. Israel has the second highest gross expenditure on R&D as a percentage of its GDP. High-tech employs around 10% of the total workforce. It accounts for 50% of the total industrial export. There are currently 7,000 high-tech companies in Israel, mainly in the internet, telco, software, and life science industries. Cybersecurity is the #1 industry for Israeli scale-ups. In fact, Israel raised 164% more in this segment than all 31 European countries together. In 2016, value of Israeli exits amounted to $10 billion. Only in March 2017, Intel, the world's largest chip maker, acquired Mobileye, a developer of autonomous driving system, for a legendary sum of $15 billion. In addition to US investors, in the last decade, investors from Asia, especially China, have been flocking to Israel in search for exciting startups to invest in. The Chinese government announced its plans to invest over $1 billion in Israeli startups through 3 funds in the fields of homeland security, robotics, automotive, cyber technologies, smart cities, agriculture, and environment. The strength of the Israeli tech sector rests on cumulative effect of the following pillars: government vision of know-how export-oriented economy and long-term structural support through Office of chief scientist programs, close affinity between industry and academia, military defense industry, presence of multinational companies, massive immigration of high educated from all over the world, and particularly from the former Soviet Union countries, and high tolerance for failure, encouragement to take risks. Failure in Israel is perceived as part of experience. Why does the Israeli model fit Serbia? First, the two countries have the same population, around 8 million people. They are considered as medium-sized countries with limited internal market. Therefore, they have to focus on export-oriented economy. Both countries have qualified and highly skilled employees. Israel had successfully encountered the challenge of drain brain, developing attractive programs to bring young people back home. Both countries have challenging geopolitical environment. Israel is an example of an effective use of very limited resources, emphasizing the need to prioritize, which means allocate incentives in what will become the driving force of the economy. And our model is simple and concrete to implement. Our embassy strongly supports and actively participates in evolving Serbian startups economy. It has close and ongoing cooperation with all relevant ministries and governmental agencies. Some of our activities include the following. Start Tel Aviv competition of startups where the winner takes part at the DLD Festival of Innovation in Tel Aviv became traditional, held fourth year in a row, this year in cooperation with ICT Hub. We are long partner of various tech events and conferences in Serbia. We proudly support Belgrade Venture Forum, which hosts Israeli guest speakers, as well as the Smart City Challenge competition, where the winner had a chance to spend 2 weeks and work in Tel Aviv as one of the awards. As part of our ongoing Mashav courses, Israel's Agency of International Cooperation and Development, every year we host numerous candidates from Serbian startup community in courses connected to startup accelerators, high-tech education, entrepreneurship, from idea to starting a business and similar. Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs, ranked 7th in the world in digital diplomacy, is organizing a unique international conference next December, focusing on the arising challenges of digital revolutions to ministries of foreign affairs and other stakeholders. Our embassy is looking forward to creating new bridges between Israeli and Serbian tech industry stakeholders, including government institutions and agencies. In this regard, we welcome the establishment of the IT and e-government office, as well as the ministry in charge of innovation, and will be happy to share the know-how and best practices of the Israel Innovation Authority, the successor of the Office of the Chief Scientist, and other counterparts. Wishing you a successful conference. Thank you.